Hello everyone, how's it going? Hopefully you're having a wonderful night, better than me. One thing I have to address, I had to remove those Twitch videos because YouTube community guidelines me, and that's basically a warning unless you want to get a strike, and I decided to delete the videos because they said it was a violation of certain policies. I just don't want to deal with it, so I'm not going to talk about that ever again. I'm going to stick to gaming news as much as I can. But yeah, the day before has been in the news everywhere because of the crap show that it launched on. Now, this game has been marketed for multiple years with misleading trailers. A lot of people came out and just analyzed the hell out of those trailers, saying that there's no way that this game is actually what they're presented it as. Even game producers and veterans within the video game industry came out and were like, there's no way this is a real game. It's likely a vertical slice. So the game launched, a day before, they said, please don't call us scammers. We worked hard and put our blood, sweat, and tears into this game. The game launched. It was crap, multitude of technical issues. More game developers came out and basically created a list of all the assets that were basically used in this game, which was largely just bought from the Unreal Engine store and then barely modified for the purposes of this game. Heck, when it crashed, they literally said Unreal Survival Game. So yeah, and then 4 days later, the company just completely shuttered. Like, they closed their doors, said it was because the day before failed and they couldn't continue operations, which makes no sense. That's not how business works. You don't just close a company after 4 days. Like, they planned this. And since then, they've been giving out refunds, and they even stated in a recent tweet that they are giving refunds to anyone who purchased the game. Now, I don't think they're doing this at the goodness of their heart. I think they're doing this, one, for legal reasons, to say they gave back anyone who wanted their money back, you know, an option. And two, I think Valve is also pressuring them because this is only on Steam as far as I can tell, and I doubt Valve wants to get roped up into all of this. A lot of people have been requesting refunds from Valve, and Valve has been honoring them. So I think that, yeah, that they're doing this to try and cover their tracks because they were repurposing their company from Fantastic to a brand new name called 8 Points. And Big Fry TV has been covering this very well. But DualShockers actually spoke to a ex-developer at Fantastic, and it turns out everything that people were correctly guessing about this game was absolutely true. The day before, the ill-fated post-apocalyptic open-world MMO Survival has been courting controversy almost since its inception. Just 4 days after the Thursday launch, developer Fantastic announced the studio would be shutting down and ceasing development on its products, citing the financial failures of the day before as the primary reason for this decision. Makes no sense. There's no way that's true. I don't believe that. Like, come on. Like, I may have never operated a business, but even I know that that's not how bankruptcies work. Like, come on. We've covered some of the controversy surrounding the day before and Fantastic in the past. These include unpaid volunteers, bizarre misleading trailers, and trademark issue that delayed the game's release by 9 months. This one, they're talking about a calendar dispute that caused them to delay the game, which no one took for, you know, what it is, because it was complete BS. But I'm surprised they didn't include the Zoom app they were marketing in conjunction with the day before, because that was also a shill product. And there was also that tweet where they showed someone playing the day before for like 6 seconds on Twitter. I can't find it anywhere. It was posted on Fantastic's official Twitter, so I'm pretty sure they deleted it. But its eventual launch the day before had quickly become one of the worst rated games on Steam, with many critics pointing out that the game played like an extraction shooter rather than anything resembling an MMO. DualShockers spoke to ex-Fantastic developer who told us the game was never intended to be an MMO, despite continuously being marketed as such. I never saw it as an MMO project, they began. No one from our team knows why they called it an MMO, because MMOs are very popular, and it looks a lot more exciting when you have a zombie apocalypse MMO game than just a zombie apocalypse game. Like I said, there's a high demand for this. If you put a zombie infection into the Division 2, I guarantee a lot more people would come back and play that game. I mean, it's still very popular, but like, put actual, like, infected creatures, that would be great. It was always a third-person shooter with some co-op mechanics. Not one RPG mechanic was implemented. Skills were an idea, and they were in the prototype stage, but nothing more. Dysfunctional communication. When asked about why the marketing and development of the game were going in two different directions, they highlighted the lack of communication from Fantastic founders Ed Wood and Ajin Gostov. I can't say their name. I'm just going to call them the brothers. I hope that's okay. As the point of contention. No one could explain. Maybe the CEOs knew something and didn't tell us. Technically speaking, there were no RPG mechanics implemented. There was no possible way to put a lot of people in the world and make the world bigger. From the beginning, the idea was that servers would be under 100 people. That is not an MMO, no clans, no raid, closed hubs. It's been that way for over 2 years. I mean, even Destiny 2 can't support that many players in like their open world sections. They can do it in the hub area, but when you actually go into like the open areas where you do combat and objectives, even there they can't do that. So how the frick were they gonna do it here? And Bungie is freaking Bungie. They even have Sony's backing now. They followed by the saying that the day before was always intended to be modeled after a mix of Rust, DayZ, and Escape from Tarkov, which, yeah, a lot of people have argued that, including me. I played the game. The day before's development was completely led by the brothers who made every gameplay and design decision. Ooh, that is not good. The developer also described the chaotic working conditions of Fantastic, where the studio's founders disregarded feedback from the team and made massive development decisions based on whims. Oh, that's really, really popular. How about you do this? How about you do that? Well, we can't do that, sir. We've already spent 6 months trying to design this. No, make it like this. Anyone who complained too much was kicked off the team. Also, they used their authority to fire people. That would actually make a lot more sense why they hired unpaid volunteers, because when you fire a lot of people who are paid, I'm pretty sure like government bodies will take notice of that. They'll be like, they have contracts, they have other benefits when it comes to paid employees. When it comes to volunteers, they don't have the same level of treatment or like rights as, say, a paid employee. A lot of good ideas from our team were disregarded because the brothers didn't improve them, like voice chat. If you have an MMO, you need voice chat, especially a game where there's shooting and tactical gameplay. Anyone who complained too much were kicked off the team, using their authority. Great. A lot of stupid ideas were implemented, removal, and re-implemented because the brothers thought they knew better than us about what people wanted. A huge amount of time and work was wasted because jobs had to be done and redone. So they just sucked at their jobs. They were terrible in management. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. Disagreeing with the founders' opinions, even if seemed obvious, risked you being fired. So they also had egos. Nice. You have egotistic people who can't manage a company, who were the heads of the company. You might as well just give them gasoline and matches at this point. When it came to heated disputes, contracts were usually terminated. Employees often direct conflict with them because they were afraid of losing their jobs. Yeah, like I said, a paid employee is they're a lot more defensive because they depend on this job for a lot of stuff. They need this in order to continue living. Whereas an unpaid volunteer, they can leave at any time. They don't care. They can be like, oh, I was just here to volunteer. I don't need to do anything here. Granted, you don't want that on a blemish on your record. The game development scene is extremely cutthroat, and they were likely doing this in order to try and bolster their resume and say, hey, I worked on this game. But I think that if you worked on this game, this should be more detrimental than positive for your resume. When the decision has been reached to close the studio, the brother told the team about some purchasing statistics and said the day before had been financially unsuccessful. The team received no other info about why the studio was closing. Imagine being a developer there, being like, one of the CEOs comes and says, well, we're closing the company. The game didn't sell well. Goodbye, clear out your desk. You'd be like, what the fuck? You can't just do that. I mean, look at what happened with Telltale Games. Like, people came and they were like, the company just shut down and they couldn't even like clear out their desk. But in that case, there was a long track record documented of what was happening. Like, investors pulling out, them not being able to secure money, games not selling. It took months for that to happen. It didn't just happen like that. Like, that makes no sense. The developer also confirmed the audacity of the brother's message, in which he leaked has been circulating in social media since. The leaked screenshot reveals the day before sold approximately 200,000 units and was refunded about 90,000 times. That's not... Oh my god. I think that's going to be 100% now that people realize that they can get their money back regardless. When asked why Fantastic shut down, they speculated that the publisher Mytona was responsible, and they didn't think the CEOs got any money from sales. Yeah, it's hard to believe that the CEOs weren't aware of what was going on. NewsShockers has reached out to Mytona for comment, and yeah, basically they've just confirmed everything that we know about this. And seeing that this article came out 1 day ago and now they're doing this, I think they're trying to mitigate any legal trouble they can face, potentially. And the number one thing you'll face is obviously anything involving finances, especially when it comes to sales. A lot of people could be like, I was scammed, I didn't get my money back, I want my money back. And that can lead to a lot more consequences once you compound those situations. So this is a way for them to just say, hey, we did give people their money back. Hey, we did have an option where anyone could get their money back. And yeah, I still think that Steam is pressuring them to do this because they're like, hey, your game has been like shuttered. All these people asking for refunds, you're going to have to give it to them. Or we're going to start take some more drastic measures. I mean, the fact they, let's actually look at this. Dev. Here it is. So this is what they've been doing. Changing their name. Let's look at the 8 Points developer. And yeah. This is the game that they're now shilling. The Wild 8. It's 85% off. They just discounted this thing. This released last couple of years ago. So yeah, you can see what they're doing here. So yeah, there you see. Fantastic are scumbags who are trying to scam you multiple times, and now they're trying to scam a new set of audience. Thankfully, a lot of people are aware of what's going on since news is spreading about this. And I hope they get everything that's coming to them, because, you know, even if they took $1 or a penny, you deserve that money back. So yeah, screw these guys. I hope they everything comes down on their heads, with the exception of the developers. I'm sure the developers did their best with what they were given, considering the harsh conditions they were dealing with. But yeah, like, dislike, I don't really care. I just don't want to see this anymore. Hopefully the future has better games who actually use early access more effectively. Anyway, that's it. Bye.